we already got into it and got in the system. And I was sitting there arguing with them about, well, where do our calls go? The system's set up where if a call's not answered in 18 seconds, it rolls over to another entity, to another agency. I've argued till I'm blue in the face with the other directors because nobody wants to back up both in Houston County because they don't have the they don't have the staffing and the funds to manage their centers to take our rollover. We can't force them to put more people in their place to handle the rollover. So that's where we went out to try to find this second connection so we could go back to the old way of doing things where Dothan would back up Houston County and Houston County would back up Dothan. That being said, that's what puts us forward to ASA with them getting the second connection because that's where the whole mini engine project, for lack of better terms, comes from. They're the ones that has us on this link. So that's where we're going and trying to get that second connection so we will have the continued redundancy because in my circle of peers, they're not staffed, they're not funded to handle the rollover. Whenever it was initially set up, I had Dale County as our backup for City of Dothan. We have one rep on the circle and they got 42 calls. I got a polite call that evening about 7:20 at my house because they weren't even able to answer their own calls because they're getting Dothan rollover calls. So that's where we're at today.
Yeah, but that would have been solved had we had Troy Cable months ago when we started talking.
I understand that, but
so whose fault is it?
I don't want to put the blame on anybody, but ASA is the one that has to order the connections because it's their system.
Yep,
I mean, that's the way I see it.
You know, we realize our problem, try to get it corrected, and we have just been jerked around.
And
period.
Through this whole process, and like Leah was talking about DCW, they've had so many changes, even through the building process that I got brought into. I think even in my short term, from April to us going live in September, we had like 3 different project managers, 3 or 4. They've had a change of hands, I don't know how many times. They can't communicate within themselves, much less communicating with the directors of 12, 13 different PSAPs. So we're biting the bullet with them. All of the directors are going after them and just trying to schedule a meeting, and it's not, I mean, there's numerous issues down to plotting of calls. ECW's just got some issues they need to work out amongst themselves.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
We don't have control over that side of it.
No, but I think what you
by going after going to another vendor and kicking ECW in the curb.
Well, that's been brought up among some of the directors, but our board agreed to a contract. We're paying for this system. I understand that. I understand.
And are we going to
wait?
wait? I mean, I'm just being brutally honest. Are we going to wait until something drastic happens? By the grace of God, nothing's happened. But with 12 times or so that it's gone down, it's only by the grace of God. What are we going to do to fix the problem? And I'm tired of the kick around.
Is
So
there
what are we
something
gonna
else
do to fix
that you're looking for me to offer at this point from the state board?
I want it fixed. I want to know how to
Completely
fix.
understand that.
I know when the gas gauge gets to E, stick the nozzle in there, and that's the end of my technical knowledge, okay? So,
Mine too.
when's it going to be fixed? Because for about 6 or 8 months now, all we've gone is on a merry-go-round.
She's already stated.
No, she said they were ordered yesterday. We hadn't had one.
She doesn't order it though. ASA is the one that orders it.
So
she's
ASA is the
waiting.
one, Alabama supercomputer, Ray Jacoby, who's a state agent, a state employee, or his department head is responsible and to give us, so when we get the legislature on them, we can get an answer.
Legislature, I know, I think what we gotta do is, before she leaves, back to my original point, is well, us have got to get together, and we need to get him on the phone now, solve the problem. That was my whole point. I mean, you know, if everybody's upset, everybody feels like we've not been treated fairly and we've been lied to. We've got, I want a complete report of ECW. for the whole board, from you, as soon as we possibly can, to know exactly what's going on with them not meeting their obligations of our contract. That's first. Number two is we need to solve the problem because we're all upset about it. All right? Because we feel like that we're getting lied to. You know how that makes you feel.
I understand.
But we ain't gonna solve a thing to do today. We need to make the contacts, let them share with those individuals our concerns, and we can take it as high as we want to take it. But what do we do today? And that's what I think is the key. We got to get ASA to move forward purchasing the circuits, correct?
Ordering circuits.
Ordering the circuits. They said they're ordered though.
So they were.
They did. I have no confirmation.
Okay,
without
we need to get confirmation on that, so when we get done with the meeting, it's not good.
Non-verbal in an email.
We'll bring the powers of this board with the coordinator together to get some answers solved, and we would like to ask you a few questions later, is my point I'm trying to make on that.
Absolutely.
So we know who to call and what their telephone number is.
Absolutely.
I have an item on my agenda.
Okay? To the agenda? Okay. All right, let's get into the agenda, and we'll add one at the end, is that okay?
Rob might be able to
But
answer.
there's a process for that, now we'll have to go through.
I didn't know I didn't know it was going to need to be added, so we just had this discussion.
Okay, Ms. City Clerk, on the process though, it takes a motion from the board to add, something has to be unanimous.
You have to have a majority vote
Okay,
to add something. And we have to have a resolution before us.
okay.
And I can tell you what it is. It's instructions to Really very unhappy it's taken this long. I don't know whose fault it is, but ASA, I know without any doubt, was aware of this problem months ago. And we-
Oh, it's been,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
had a lot of
Yeah.
And
conversation.
that's the
They
thing,
were.
they're telling us one thing that's not true,
Was,
and then they're coming back and having to eat crow and change their story.
on the conference call that we had,
Ray Jacoby,
was there someone with the state board on that
Jason
conference
Jackson
call?
was on
Jason Jackson.
Was he with the state board at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, when was this?
this was in,
No, I thought, no, at the time that conference call,
It was-
Jason was with ECW because he started jumping on him and said when he was with the state board, so-and-so, so it was after he left the state board.
I believe it was. He was not an employee of the board.
Yeah, it might-
He was with ECW.
it was right there, I mean,
Was
it
there-
was, yeah. There wasn't anybody with the state on the phone call.
So at what point have y'all?
Because
got-
at that point, we didn't involve, because it wasn't with them, it wasn't their, the state's
It
was-
issue. This was between us and ASA and ECW.
I was told that somewhere in this mix that the state board didn't want to do it till July because of
No, that was
budget.
ASA.
Yeah, that,
ASA, their pricing was changing July 1. Their ASA, Ray Jacoby is the one that said that they were trying to hold off until July 1 because it was an ASA, their funding, their amounts were changing. They're just the billing process, all of, they bill them and they pull it out of our annual budget.
Okay. I thought at the last meeting, there was an update given on it that something about pricing and that,
That comes from ASA. They're the one that gave the quote.
for, just to give a little bit of history, for that pricing, ASA had a regular 3-year contract with a company called CSE that they were renegotiating their prices with. It was their recommendation for the districts to wait until the July 1 start of that contract so that, again, you could enjoy some savings there, so.
Were they aware of our situation
I believe they were fully aware of your situation, yes.
and still wanted us to wait?
I would not like to speak on their behalf, but I think their position would be that you guys had other alternatives to seek for failover or backup options. However, they might be just cost prohibitive. So,
I'm lost on that.
Yeah.
Because Troy Cable, I had Troy Cable at my office, which is 1 block from Commerce Center.
The problem with this is my understanding, now I'm not a telco person, but Troy Cable and CenturyLink come in at the same, help me out, Rob, what do you call it?
Pop.
Yeah, they come in at the same place. That's the biggest issue. So they're having to order new circuits so they can come in separately, so we'll have that full redundancy. But we're
And that is an
totally on
exist-
CenturyLink now.
That is an existing setup, a proven setup, and
Right.
probably the most plausible solution as to where to put these two backup connections.
And of all the griping I've done, it just got ordered yesterday.
We weren't told that. We were told, I've got emails
And you were told that
that
it
the
was done,
circuit was already ordered. It was a while back.
you were told it was done a week ago?
It would have,
Yeah,
no, it
it's-
would have been early July when I was told
Told that it was
Who
ordered.
told you?
Rage Cody.
Ray Jacoby?
Yes, sir.
And he's with Supercomputer?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is that a state agency? Supercomputer, is that a private? It's a state agency. So, he told you the 1st of July.
It was the beginning of July, not the actual first of July.
And they were just ordered yesterday.
As of yesterday, his telling to me was that they were ordered yesterday morning. And the explanation that was offered, I will convey this, whenever they gave the state the quote, which I did have to sign off on as far as the agreement for services, so that we could serve as the billing mechanism on the district's behalf.
That was it.
And when was that done, yeah?
That let's see, I will say this, and I don't know that it really matters, but those quotes were due back signed to ASA on June 28th or 9th. I did not receive them until after July 4th, after the 4th holiday, which we have corresponded via email to say, you're not going to get these by the due date because I received them after the due date.
We got that from her. That's when the last discussion was about it. The minutes reflect that.
But there was probably a week or so maybe that I took the agreements, ran down all the districts, because this does not just impact Houston County, it impacts about 12 others. And just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and before we enter into an agreement on their behalf, that was what you all wanted to do. They were returned to them, I know that it was before July 20th. I would have to check to see, but it was July 20th, and we received confirmation that the circuits had been ordered at that time. And they had not. But to convey what the explanation given to me yesterday was, they came back and decided that there was a $400 difference, depending on who you asked, a $100 or a $400 difference in the install. Therefore, the reason the circuits weren't ordered by one division of ASA was because they thought they needed the updated agreements. But because it was a reduction in the actual price, they should have already gone and ordered the circuits and should not have held up the project. However, it was kind of a right hand, left hand. They didn't make that communication.
They don't know what they're doing, or have no communications. Now,
Well,
let me.
I'll say this, as far as ASA, they provide the backbone that Engine operates off of now, which handles 75–80% of our 911 calls in the state, and has successfully since December of 2014. So, while there are some communication lapses, to put it nicely, they are doing a very solid and economically feasible business for the state of Alabama in handling our 911 calls, the majority of our 911 calls.
So where do we go from here?